Okay, another quick one, YouTube. This is a follow-up to my Department of Homeland Security uh, giving this guy the clearance to enter that Navy base. Okay, everything's run through the Department of Homeland Security and their so-called infusion centers or fusion centers where they fuse all the information together. And these centers each operate independently, and this is probably why some of the information was overlooked with this guy's complete behavior geographically where he lived. Okay, and each agency probably had something on this guy, but nothing was fused into one. Now, okay, so he gets clearance time and time again, and I told you how lax they were already clearing people that have multiple drug charges, violent charges, etc., DUIs, up to methamphetamine, crack use, everything, and they get cleared anyway. Okay, now here we go from Fox News up here. Pentagon to probe security clearance procedures after Navy Yard shooting. Okay, and goes on. The Defense Department has ordered a series of reviews of military security clearance procedures in the wake of the Washington Navy Yard shooting, acknowledging that warning signs may have been missed in the background. Sure, in his background, yeah, right. Okay, no, they weren't. Everything was very clear and evident, but they granted him clearance anyway because he worked for Hewlett Packard. Okay, and they're relying on Hewlett Packard. They got contracts with Hewlett Packard, so they got to let their workers in. Okay, and I want you to. I'm going to go ahead and make a very long video short. I mean, there's a lot of little nuggets in this article, so it's out there on Fox News if you want to read it. I'm just wanted to put my little part in on it. He goes, I want a complete and comprehensive look on how we grant security clearances as well as how we decide to renew them. Mavis said in a statement, we entrust our people with our nation's secrets and with the access to our facilities. We owe them and their families nothing less than the assurance that everyone else who enjoys such a clearance deserves it. So is that a new change in policy, Mavis, or has that always been your policy then? What your statement is then Mr. Mavis, you are could be held liable because now you're reevaluating a person's clearance privileges. Reevaluating. Well, you already had a chance to evaluate and put policy in place. Okay, and that policy was to just go ahead and let everybody have clearance, basically. And like I'm telling you, there are straight up criminals that are employed by the Department of Homeland Security that have horrible backgrounds. Okay, and employed by these other agencies that have access to federal property. And Chuck Hagel, there's no quote of this in this article, but Chuck Hagel said that they're charged with their security of the government first. No, Chuck Hagel, you are charged with the security of the American public first. Okay, and you get the honor of serving us. Okay, and that you put your butts on the line for us. And you don't get any honor or praise unless you want to talk about security. Okay, yeah, it is all about covering your butts. Okay, and the American people are out there on their own, and you wonder why people are rushing to buy military style weapons. Okay, and obviously there was a lot of red flags. Hey, Hagel told a reporter why they didn't get picked and why they didn't get incorporated into the clearance process. What he was doing, those are all legitimate questions that we're going to be dealing with. Yeah, it could be because the Department of Homeland Security fusion centers all operate on their own budgets and their own information gathering procedures, etc. And they're basically not even have any oversight. So they're all out there on their own too. Where there are gaps, we will close them. Okay, sure you will. Okay, and I want you to I want to skip down to this little part here. It says, meanwhile, the Washington Post reported that Alexis carved bizarre phrases into the stock of the shotgun before the shooting, including better off this way and my ELF weapon. The newspaper cited unidentified law enforcement officials. ELF typically stands for extremely low frequency. The officials told newspapers they did not know yet what, if anything, Alexis meant in the carvings, because he believed that people had these weapons on them that were making these voices appear in his head using these ELF type weapons, and him being in the Navy, they know that they have this technology. Extremely low frequency, or operates on the same frequency as your brain does. Okay, Well, my door just happened to slam. Sorry. Anyway, um, yeah, operates on the same frequency of your brain, and even advertisers want to get a hold of this technology. So when you walk by one of their advertising boards, you could hear the sound in your head, and nobody else around you can hear it. Okay, and it works on ELF technology, and that is the reason why he had some facts that were kind of giving into his maybe paranoia. You know, who knows if people were following him around? Uh, who knows what happened to him while he was in the Navy? And what he saw and what he took part in while he was in the Navy. You know, I'd be kind of curious about that. That he's giving stock to ELF weapons, and that's what he meant when he put that on his shotgun. Okay, is that he thought these guys are using ELF weapons. You can Google it, and you can find that DARPA's got all kinds of good stuff on that, and they know how to do it, and they do employ it. They employed it in Desert Storm, okay, including biological weapons. And I hear a lot of talk today about chemical weapons, and what about our ELF weapons and our directed energy weapons and biological weapons that are now in the environment? You know, we're not talking about that after Hurricane Katrina. You know, we got all those bacteria and viruses that were hit their bioweapons lab in downtown New Orleans after the Hurricane Katrina 8 years ago. You got that stuff circling the globe. Ask the Chinese, they know all about it. Ask the Russians, they know all about it. Okay. And they don't want to tell you guys all about what happened there. But yeah, here we go. You know, this actually came up as, how did he get in there? Because Department of Homeland Security is the one that does all the security checks for federal property. And we just had Napolitano step down, and everybody's passing the buck. Okay, everybody wants to weigh in, and we do a lot of reviews. Well, who's going to be accountable for the current failure when you have 12 deaths and 8 wounded or 10 wounded? Okay. Anyway, that's my take on it. Just wanted to put this up really quick so you guys could just be aware.